Don't have another window open in the background. Hello, everybody. This is Adele.
Ciao.
I'm just checking that I've got so many windows open. I'll close that one. That one. Don't close the StreamYard, or that'll mess everything up. I don't think I've got any windows open in the background, so we shouldn't get any feedback. Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you, mods.
Excuse me.
Thank you all so much for joining us. This is Adele, and the I think it was the live the other day, or it could have been a video, that I was suggesting that Harry might be in an abusive relationship. And Adele left a fabulous comment, very, very profound, which really rang true to me. And I asked her in the comments if she wouldn't mind coming up to talk more about it. And so we've been in touch with by email, and here she is.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to this. So, getting straight into it and leading on from that, what do you observe of Harry and Meghan and their dynamic? What do you think is going on there?
I mean, like I said, this is a textbook example of an abusive relationship. I mean, one thing that people don't realize is that abuse isn't about physical violence, it's not about money, anything to that effect. It's about control. And, one thing you talked about in your video yesterday is isolation. And I mean, she successfully isolated him.
Mhm.
She's alienated all of his friends. I mean, she physically isolated him, from the UK to California, as if that wasn't bad enough. The only person who still spoke to him for a long time was Nacho. And,
Yeah,
I remember I was talking to my mom and I said, I mean, he can't leave. Where would he go? He has no friends. He has no family. My mom said, well, he doesn't have friends he can call. I said, no, she alienated them all. They don't talk to him anymore because they don't get along with Meghan. Now, the only friend who still speaks to him are his friend Nacho, Nacho's wife Delphina, but they're both friends with Meghan. So, I mean, would he feel comfortable going to them? Would he be safe there?
it,
So,
it's interesting. I looked at her Instagram this morning, and she's released a video about how to make a guest feel comfortable over Christmas. So,
um, it's really
little
not
fib,
funny because, like, who
but
is
not
going over to her
family.
house?
She doesn't use the word family. How to make family feel comfortable over Christmas. How to make your kids feel great over Christmas. If you have relatives visiting, she says how to make your guests,
Right.
your visitors. It's so impersonal. It's so peculiar.
And yeah, it's very impersonal, but I mean, let's be honest. Like, who is coming to her house? She doesn't have friends because she's not nice to anybody. She doesn't get along with anybody. I mean, what is she trying to explain to us?
It also, she kind of dusts this very perfectly made white bed. And I mean, it reminds me of, soldiers bouncing a penny on the bed to see if
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. She is so controlled. It's like,
Well, that's what abuse is. It's control. Like I
yeah,
said, it's not about money, physical
you
violence,
have
anything
hit
like
the
that.
nail on the head. Yeah.
It's control. And, when I was just saying, you were talking about it yesterday when she successfully isolated Harry, it's to control him. I mean, she successfully controlled him because let's say, people, who want to leave abusive relationships, people say, well, why don't they just leave? Harry literally had nowhere to go. I mean, I'm curious, how much control does he have over his money? I mean, yeah, she didn't come to the marriage with really anything, at least not compared to him. But does he have access to any money where he could, take his children somewhere and their pets and, stay somewhere where until they could get back to the UK? That's one thing that's made me curious. One
It's
thing
like,
that I'm sorry.
yeah. No, no, sorry, go on.
No, one thing that you were saying, you think he's left her several times and he keeps going back. That would
Yeah,
make a lot of sense because there were those rumors going around that he had a room at some local hotel or something, or some
yeah,
suite. Do you remember those rumors? Those were
yeah.
going around some time ago. I don't know if it's true or not. I mean,
And
I have no
also, I
confirmation.
don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was definitely one of his birthdays. She'd released a load of puff pieces. Harry's going to spend his birthday with us. We're going to have a quiet one at home again. with no one else around. It's always, we're going to have a quiet Christmas, we're going to have a quiet birthday. And then
Well,
all
they
of a
don't have friends,
sudden,
so I mean,
he's, he said, no, I'm having a holiday with the boys. I'm going
yeah.
camping. That's just one occasion over the last few
When was
years.
that? Was this just
I
this
think
past September?
I think it might have been last year. It could have been the year before.
Because I remember in Spare, you remember they had been dating all of like 3 weeks. And you remember he went on that vacation with his friends and he had his phone glued to him because he was afraid that Megan would call him or message him and he wouldn't answer her right away. You remember that?
I'm not sure if I do, actually.
So he was out on a jet ski, he said, and they were just riding around having a good time. It was a guy's trip, you know.
Right.
So, but his phone was in the cup holder and it fell in the water.
Um,
And he panicked, like, oh my God, you know, Megan's gonna think that I don't want anything to do with her and blah, 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 blah. So they're like, look, man, your friend's gonna be fine. I mean, just, you know, put in a bowl of rice and, you know. He says, well, how long's it got to stay in the rice? I said, well, what? I mean, a few days. And he's like, I can't go a few days, but I mean, how long had they been seeing each other? I think that at that point they'd been all on 2 dates. And I mean,
yeah.
just from the beginning, before they even met, it was stress, anxiety,
Yeah.
agitation.
Her own father confirmed this. I mean, I think this is one of the reasons she's really angry with him. He was interviewed by Piers Morgan at one point, and Piers said, is Megan rude? And he said, no, she's never rude. She's controlling,
Yeah.
but never rude. And I think she really didn't like he said that. And controlling, yeah, you've hit the nail on the
Yeah.
head. I think that's probably what, she is a control freak. You just have to watch her TV show, how she makes such a fuss about a bow. You know,
Yeah.
placing little flower petals. People who are very, very controlling do that kind of thing. I know people with obsessive compulsive disorder do as well. But
Right. That can be anxiety too. Yeah,
yeah,
because obsessive
yeah,
compulsive disorder is a form of anxiety, or it could just be generalized anxiety. I mean, I've
that,
seen that. I used to work in behavioral health, so I've seen that too.
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Nas put up.
But with Megan, no, I don't think that that's generalized anxiety or obsessive compulsive disorder. I think that um that's
control.
the abuser. Yeah.
Yeah, and NAA has said yes, he can go right to the High Commission consulate with kids too.
He might
Now,
not realize that. Harry really isn't very bright. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. He's just
do
not
you
that
think he
smart.
could do that, or do you think that would cause publicity, diplomatic incident, embarrassment for his family? I mean, I'm
He
not
might be too
familiar.
scared. A lot of victims don't leave because they're too scared to leave. I mean, like I said, you know, we were talking before the live. We only know what we see in public. What does Megan tell him in private? What does she put into his head? I mean, he had all this fight for this security because he and his family aren't safe. So it was back in 2022. William and Catherine went on that tour to Central America and the Caribbean. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so their first stop was Belize. The night before they left, William and Louis were walking through Kensington Palace Gardens. And I saw the video. I've been to Kensington Palace Gardens, and the part where they were walking is open to the public. It was just the two of them.
Yeah.
They were walking, just having some one-on-one father-son time. Zero security. Nobody was with them. Nobody was bothering them. I mean,
Yeah.
what does Megan put into Harry's head that makes him feel that he's so unsafe that he can't bring his
Well,
children to the UK?
it was visible in the Netflix show when they got in the car, and she said, "There's paparazzi on a moped. Just so you know, just so you know." And you could see he was instantly triggered, and he was
Yeah.
looking where. And then she was like, "Oh, don't worry, we're not going to speed or anything," which is pretty callous considering what happened to his mum. So that's
Yeah.
the type. That was a visible seed.
I
That's
didn't watch the Netflix show, so was there really somebody on a moped there or no?
I didn't see actually any evidence of anyone on a
I was about
moped.
to
There
say
may
if
have
there
been a guy
was,
on a moped, and
yeah.
also when they were in the house, the borrowed house in Canada, before they went to Tyler Perry's, in the Netflix series, Harry was curtain twitching, and there was a rib, an inflatable boat in the middle of the lake. I mean, they didn't even appear to me to have cameras. They could have been just two guys on a lake, you know,
They
just
probably were.
water sport. And he was convinced. He was in such a heightened state of paranoia. He was like, look, 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 they're going to come and get me. They're going to come and get me. So yeah, what has been said to him to make him feel like that? Because when his mother was swamped, when Catherine was swamped, when other members of the family have been, I mean, it's obvious what's going on. None of this is obvious. And if he is, I don't think he is particularly mentally well.
No, he's not well. He needs help. And Meghan really isn't doing him any favors.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that there were leaks from the palace when she was there that she'd said to him, "Oh, I just stopped taking all that prescription stuff. You take what drugs you want. You don't need any of that."
Yeah, that's control.
Yeah, I think, yeah. But to him, that's like a treat. Oh,
to not take his medication?
Oh, I don't have to take the medic. I can take drugs.
Yeah.
You're okay with me taking drugs and drink? Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah, because I definitely think he's still using. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't have any independent confirmation of that. But yeah, definitely. I don't think.
Well, apart from his book, in his book, he admits.
Oh, yeah. No, but I mean, I think today in 2025, I think that he's still using.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever went into recovery and then Meghan showed up and, ruined that for him. But yeah.
To be in recovery, I think he would have to complete the 12-step program, which is a big thing.
Yeah, so, a lot of people don't understand the difference between someone who stops using and someone who's in recovery. You stop using, whether it's alcohol or, a substance. People who stop using just stop using. But recovery is when someone makes the lifestyle changes to say, I don't need a drink, or, I don't need to, I don't need crack or whatever it is that they use.
I suspect he does need.
He does need what?
Drugs.
Yeah.
He needs them. And if you have, coming back to your explaining it's all about control, if that person is offering substances, that's going to make it double hard for the person to peel away.
Yeah, definitely. She's enabling him.
Yeah. If that's what's happening. I mean, like you say, we just don't know behind closed doors.
Right.
I can't imagine that we've got it wrong. And if you're right, then it's probably a horror show.
Yeah.
The Prince and Princess of Wales, spelt W-A-I-L. He was someone before all of this. Those children will have a harder time shaking the trauma. The older they get, he will have a 12-step. They will have it running through their brain. They're worthless. Oh, on so many levels.
Oh, definitely. Because, I mean, I don't think she's just abusive towards Harry. One thing that everybody points out in these photos, Meghan watches us. So, I mean,
yeah, for sure, of course.
She's responding to the things that we say about her.
Yes.
One thing that everyone says in the photos is that, oh, Lily's hair is never brushed, or she's always wearing pajamas, or something like that. I mean, that could be an attempt to degrade Lily, or whatever her name is. I'm not even convinced that those are their names. I don't know what to believe about these children anymore, to be honest with you.
I don't. I mean, they have set those kids up for such a hard fall because, I mean, I can't believe Harry's allowed it because he's had his parentage questioned for years and he hates that. Right. How could he allow her to set his children up for an even bigger fall, like whatever the hell was going on, either pregnancy, a mystique. It has just created a hotbed for the internet. In this day and age, he should have realized that. Then, like, even the name of the little girl is a bone of contention. Didn't they see the Queen? Didn't they do this? And the weirdest thing for me was recently her releasing footage of Archie and Lily as a treat being allowed to watch Mummy work. And the backs of their heads, I didn't need to see their faces.
Wait, when was this?
Very recently, in the last month or two. since she's
She put
been.
a video on Instagram, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The two little kids, you see the backs of their heads and the computer screen watching mummy, you know, in a film crew, scintillating for a, what are they, 4 and 6 year old. And you could see by the body
3
language,
and
by the way
5,
they were.
4. Oh no, they are 4 and 6 now.
I think they are, you know,
Yeah.
I'm too fucking scared to move. Mummy said I've got to sit here and
Right.
watch. You know, to me, that's why she does this sort of thing.
So you remember that video she posted of Archie, and well, it was a video as a compilation. It was when she wore that purple crewneck sweatshirt from Northwestern University, the same one Diana wore. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that video, there was a part where Archie was watering the garden. And she had asked him, "Oh, do you want to water the garden?" And he said, "Only if you want me to."
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
you can hear him say that. He said, "Well, only if you want me to." And you can hear it in his voice. You know, am I going to screw something up? You know, I mean, they're all walking
Yeah.
on eggshells over there.
I was just going to say eggshells. I have
Yeah.
seen so many comments, aside from yours, from people who have told their story. There was a lady who really wrote it so well, a great big long comment explaining the story of what she went through. There's so many people, and they're all like, you know, you do anything just to stop the person from flicking out.
Right.
Total eggshells.
You do what you can. Harry does what he can to keep the peace.
Yeah.
And I mean, children who are brought up that way, they learn the same thing. You know, what keeps the
Of
peace?
course.
What keeps everything calm?
To them, it's normal. It
Right.
won't be until they grow up and they make friends who they compare
Right.
notes. You know, do you remember waking up on a Saturday morning, you go watch some TV show? It's not until that moment that those
Right.
kids, when they're comparing notes, they're going to go, oh no, we had
Yeah,
to be
well,
up, we had to be at
right.
the breakfast table, we had to say, oh mommy, you look so beautiful today. You know, that was what we had to do. Well, mommy, you work so hard. What kid says that? But she claims.
Right.
That,
But yeah, I mean, you raise children. So, I mean, 4 and 6, you know, that's the age where kids start to quote unquote figure it out,
yeah,
because it's when they start interacting with their peers and they realize, well, wait a minute, that's not what happens at my house.
yeah,
Or, their friends go ask them, "Well, don't you ever go see your grandpa who lives in the palace?" And they say, "Who? What
yeah.
palace?" I mean, they don't even know that their grandfather's the King of England.
They might do by now.
Maybe they do.
Might
I don't
they
know, but I
might.
remember Harry and Meghan. It was probably within the last year they said the children didn't know about their royal heritage because, um, they would tell them when the time was right.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a good point. If I think back to my two when they were 4 and 6, yeah, I mean they were going to birthday parties at that age,
Right,
and they had been for a few years. I think the birthday parties probably started around age 4 for my
right.
eldest, and yeah, they were, and if they're allowed,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. And yeah, kids would talk. I mean, my two, they were sort of starting to crack jokes, develop a sense of humor. And they became, you know, they went from being, it's like hard work being a parent. And you're like, oh my God, I've got to get up early. You know, you have to do the laundry, feed
Yeah.
them, clean them, change. When they get to the age where they're really able to talk to you, they have a great sense of humor.
Hmm.
And you start having a laugh with your kids. I
Hmm.
don't see that around her. I would say, if anything, the little girl is a bit more. The body language to me appears more confident than the little boy. The little boy is positively like, "I'm too fucking scared to move."
Right.
You know?
Well, so Megan as an abuser is going to try and project herself through the girl as a female,
Oh,
just
right,
like
interesting.
a male abuser would through a son.
Right,
I
okay,
mean, I think in a way, I think most, if not all, parents kind of try and quote unquote live their life through their kids. And I say that because, they want to give their children the opportunities that they didn't have.
yeah,
They want to make it better for their kids, but that's not what Megan's doing.
that is
It's,
interesting that you say that,
yeah.
because it's obvious the little girl's the favor of the two.
Oh,
That is
absolutely.
obvious. and yet the hair is never brushed. I mean, I don't know what it's like in the States, but when my two were little, if I took them to school and my daughter's hair was like that, it would only have to be like that on about 3 occasions, and I would be called in to talk to the teacher, because
Right.
part of the teacher's job is to look and think, what are all the kids being given in their packed lunch? I know it sounds awful, but this is part of their job.
Mhm.
Are the kids coming to school in dirty clothes? Does the child
Right.
seem withdrawn? And the next step is child services.
Right.
So most parents are aware of this, and they wouldn't. I mean, that
Mhm.
Lily's hair in a lot of the photographs is matted, matted.
So I think part of the photos of the children, I think we can agree there's a lie being told about these children, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't have two children naturally, and they're just living as a happy, healthy nuclear family. Like that's not the case. But I think that Megan does these little things because one, I think it's to degrade her children. I mean, because she doesn't have a high opinion of herself, so she's not going to want her children to either. But I think this is also jabs at Harry and the royal family. I can expose this lie whenever I want, you
mm,
know, so don't
yeah,
test me. Now, Megan treads in very dangerous waters when she does that. I mean, she challenges some very powerful people.
yeah,
And she's a shark, but the shark's not the apex predator of the ocean. Maybe
yeah,
sharks think they are. I don't know. But, I mean, she's not going to outsmart a thousand-year-old institution.
yeah. I don't understand the attitude of it either. That came in pretty quickly after the engagement. There were puff pieces. She's gonna shake this up. She's gonna modernize it. She's gonna be a breath of fresh air. You
And she
wait. She's
could
gonna
have.
get in there and reorganize them all. I mean,
And she could have. I mean, Catherine really has. I mean, William and Catherine have really modernized the monarchy.
they have, in a
Yeah,
gentle way. They've actually taken their time. They've done it quite quickly by royal
right,
standards. I mean, Meghan wanted it done first couple weeks.
right. But, I mean, Megan could have done that too. I mean, she could have gotten involved in charitable work. Like
Yeah,
they like to make people think that they're trying to keep children safe online. Well, they could have done that as part of the royal family. That would have really modernized it. I mean, in
yeah.
2025, you shared that story about Ben, with that white hacker. What was he like, 13? You
Which
said
white hacker?
you said I think you had mentioned he was on the internet and he told somebody like, "Hey,
Oh yeah, my
whatever,
son. Yeah,
go
yeah.
away." Yeah.
He had a white hacker who turned our router off for
Yeah.
5 minutes or so. And I only found out this year that that's what had happened. And Ben was like, "Shit, yeah." I wondered why he'd stopped gobbing off at people on Omegle.
Well, that's why.
I used to hear the shouting from his bedroom, and he was shrieking with laughter. He thought it was really him and his mates thought it was really funny, and then the behaviour just suddenly improved one day.
Right.
I thought he'd grown out of it, but he had a little scare. Yeah, I mean, before she opened her mouth on the engagement interview, and I'd seen her physically, I was thinking, oh, she's American. This is cool.
Hmm.
She looks like she's going to be good fun. And I thought they'd be like the naughty royals, but in a nice way. They'd go to cut
Yeah.
ribbons and mess it up and make a joke of it, put everyone at their ease, and that
Well,
they
that's
would,
the kind of person Harry was before he met Meghan.
yeah, yeah, and that they would be like, we're just the Duke and Duchess of nonsense. We're just having a laugh. And that Catherine and
Right.
William would be, the high respected ones, and then they'd all get
The
together. But
serious ones. Right.
as soon as I saw that engagement interview, I thought, oh my god, oh my god, Harry.
It wasn't until the Oprah interview after that I was like, okay, you
Okay,
know what? Yeah, this is not anything
any
to
particular
be
moment
excited
in
about.
it, or just the whole thing? Can you put your finger on it? What it was
I can't think of a
particularly?
particular moment. And so when she brought up the accusations of racism, you know,
Yeah,
here's what I think. I think that conversation did happen. That's my opinion. But I think the person who expressed concerns, I think that was Megan.
I wonder. Apparently,
I mean,
according
that's
to
my
Harry,
opinion, but
it
yeah,
was a conversation that happened before they were even married.
yeah. No, I thought she
Bill,
was pregnant with Archie when that conversation happened. Well,
no,
pregnant.
apparently not. But I'll tell you what I think brought all that up. They did go to an event, and it was all over the news in the UK. Someone in the crowd shouted out and said, "Hey, Megan, what's it like to shag a ginger?" Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Well, the press picked up on it straight away. I don't know if anyone in the comments remembers, but I distinctly remember because my husband thought that was a really funny thing to say. But it was sort of backhanded, if you know what I mean. It could have
Hmm.
meant like, I thought at
Yeah.
the time, that's a little edgy thing to say.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if it was around about that time that Harry and Meghan themselves had conversations, and or someone might have said something around that time, you know, I wonder what
Hmm.
kind of a baby you two are going to produce. Um, and if it was around about that time, I mean, that was a really strange thing for some guy to shout out. I know a lot of guys thought it was funny,
Yeah.
but she might have felt a little oversensitive about those things and thought, is he really bothered about people with ginger hair, or is he trying to say something about me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or she just plain made it up to shit stir.
Excuse me. Sorry.
No problem. There's so
So,
many
who
comments.
cares?
I think the racist thing was Megan too, because really truly, who
Okay.
cares anymore? Exactly, Donna. That's why I
Yeah.
thought it was a strange thing for a guy to shout out in the crowd. And he said shag. Hey Megan, what's it like to shag a ginger?
Hmm.
What sort of a comment is that to come out with? Sort of thing my son would say. My God. Um, After 21 years of my mother's control, I wanted to off myself. I hope to God the kids never feel like this. Never mind if they were never mind that worry for Harry.
I
Well,
was concerned about that for a long, I'm sorry, not with the
no, go
children,
on.
but with Harry. I mean, where I was seeing I was seeing him get to the point where he was be so isolated, he would feel that that was his only way out.
Yeah.
So when he got back on speaking terms with his father, I mean, that was like, whew, you know,
Mm.
because I mean, he's a ding dong, that guy. I mean, but he still doesn't deserve this. And
Nobody does. Nobody does.
right,
Honest to God, if I thought that he was abusing Megan, I'd be on her side, you know.
right.
But I don't see that.
I don't
And
see that
little
either.
little things like partners who put their partners down to undermine their confidence, make them feel
Mhm.
belittled. I have seen evidence of that between the two of
I
them.
I just finished this book. It's Trader King. It's about David and Wallace.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Andrew
Okay,
Lowney. Yep.
right. But Wallace did that with David. Now, I didn't see with Wallace and David like the control of her and David, but there were times where she would put him down in public and
Hmm.
he would just kind of sit there and take it. I guess he didn't know what else to do or
Mm. It's interesting you bring that up because
yeah.
they had a butler for many years, and the butler wrote some sort of manuscript, and it was auctioned off either last year or the year before, and it's been bought by some movie producer, and I think Joan Collins is going to play Wallace.
Hmm.
And basically, what this butler said was she was a right madam, complicated, and
Oh,
yes,
definitely.
she was sick of him. She didn't really want to be with him. She was stuck with him. And Joan Collins is a great actress, and
Mhm.
I can't wait to see that come out. I will make it my business, no matter what streamer it's on. You know, you got to pay for all these different streamers these days,
Right.
but um, I will
I
make
know
it my
what happened to
business to watch
cable.
that.
Like
I know it's so difficult, and everyone I know says I've got one of these illegal Fire Sticks. I'm the only person who doesn't have one because it's illegal. I don't
right.
have one, so I'm really worried. But it feels like the whole world's got one of them. But no, whatever streamer they have, I'll sign up for the month, and I will watch that because I love Joan Collins, and she's going to depict Wallace in her later years, whereas a lot of adaptations depict Wallace in the earlier years, nearer the abdication. But it's
Yeah.
interesting that you say Andrew Lowney's picked up on. I haven't read Traitor King.
Oh, it's a very good book. So there's another YouTuber who reviews books. And that was one of the books she's reviewed. The first book she
Oh,
did was
is that
Spare.
vintage read, Shauna?
No, her name is
Oh,
Cheer Denise.
Cheery Denise. I've heard of Cheery Denise. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean,
There's
she's
a few
great.
of
She's
them.
very bright. She's funny. She does some pop culture things too. So she's done some pop culture books well, more pop culture in the United States. And she does historical books. There was another book she did. It was another YouTuber, actually. She said he reached out to her and he said, I saw your channel, I saw that you review books, and was just wondering if you wanted to read my book, maybe review it. And I read it. It was a great book.
Yeah, he's been
So,
on quite a few YouTube channels recently with his latest book, the Fall of the House of York.
yeah, Cheer just finished that one.
But
She did The Mountbattens.
those two, Andrew and Sarah, they're completely different category. They're nothing like Meghan and Harry, really.
They really are.
I see it as a total, and it's not really a situation that I've watched with any great interest over the years. I think I'm more interested in Meghan and Harry, most likely because of and I have only just recently realised the angle of abuse and watching it unfold over all these years.
Hmm.
Perhaps if I hadn't been watching it so closely and I'd just sort of come back to it after a few years, I'd look at it and go, oh, I can see what's happening there.
Hmm.
Just step
Yeah.
away from it for a minute and then come back.
So Trader King starts with the abdication. Parliament's just voted to approve it. David gives his speech, and then he's being exiled. He's leaving that night. And he's like happier than happy can be because he's got no responsibility now. He gets to marry the person he wants to marry. Meanwhile, everybody's crying. I mean, his poor mother, her husband just died. Her son's being exiled. She's probably wondering if she's ever going to see him again. And he's completely oblivious to what's going on. But Wallace didn't want him to abdicate because I don't think Wallace wanted to get married to, at least not to him.
No, I don't think she wanted to get stuck with him.
I
And
mean, she just wanted to be his mistress. But he
well,
said,
she,
well, wait a
she
minute.
would have
If I,
known. She
what's
would have
that?
known. I mean, third husband, she would have
Right.
known. She got away with two divorces already. This is it. I'm stuck with this guy for life. So and she must have looked at him and thought, well, you're not actually the one for me, and you're not even going to be the fucking king. What's the point? Holy
Well,
shit!
he could have stayed the king. He could have been the king, and she would have been his mistress. But
She,
I mean, David was like, "Wait a minute. If we get married, I can't be the king. Oh, well, can't be the king then. All right, sorry, I gotta go. You guys are in good hands. My brother's a great guy. I'm out." And that was basically what he did.
yeah,
So, and then he and Wallace later got married.
but she
But
could
like I
have
said,
been. She could have been queen. I mean, I seem to remember reading something about that Tommy Lascelles. That was he worked for George V, then George VI.
mhm,
He also worked for David.
yeah,
And apparently he had said to him, listen, just pace yourself, be crowned, and let's deal with this. She can be your special friend who goes to attend, and we'll deal with this
mhm,
after once you've had the coronation. But no, it was David who didn't want, and David was there were red boxes going back to the government that
mhm,
had coffee stains, coffee mug stains on documents that are quite sensitive, very sensitive.
mhm,
And they're like, is this guy taking it seriously? But to put yourself in Wallace's shoes, if she was going out with him in the first place because he was the Prince of Wales, boy, she ended up with a disappointment with a guy
right,
she may not have wanted to be with, and he's not even the king.
right. He was the
And
king all of what, 311 days, I think it was, something like that.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
if she'd left him and not agreed to marry him, and he
Mhm.
kills himself, well, she might as well. That's her life over, isn't it? Your people would
Yeah.
be, look, you took the king, and now he's dead. So, yeah, she ended up in I think the difference with her and Meghan is, I think Wallace was more intelligent. I don't think Meghan. If Meghan was in that position, she'd go, "I'm sorry, fuck this shit, I'm out here."
Yeah.
She would. You're not going to be
Right.
the king. Well, see
All
you
right. Well,
later.
see ya. Have a nice
Yeah,
life.
yeah. She wouldn't have had the honor or the intelligence of Wallace to see the situation. I mean, what do you make of what's going on with her father?
Oh, that's terrible. I feel badly for him. Well, I mean, even at any age, to lose an appendage, I would think is very traumatizing. But I mean, at his age, he probably doesn't have very much longer to live. And he just
Yeah,
wants to see his child,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, we were talking before we went on air about the flag and
Mhm,
military funerals and stuff, and you
mhm.
mentioned that your dad died.
Yeah.
I'm certain you'd give anything just to have one more day with your dad.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, my siblings and I were all with him when he died, and so, everybody was there. But I mean, I'm just thinking back to him being deceased. It's like, Megan doesn't wants him. She wanted him to disown her brother and sister. I mean, firstly, her dad's not going to do that. But I mean, him, it's like Diana. Do you really think Diana would want her two sons not speaking to each other?
No,
He doesn't want his children not speaking to each other. My dad wouldn't either. I mean,
no.
we do. We're all busy, so we don't get to see each other very much. But I mean, he's gonna die. He knows his children aren't gonna be in contact. He's not gonna see Megan probably before he passes away. Now,
No, I
I
don't
think,
think so.
what's that?
No, I agree. I don't think so.
Well, I think that Harry is coming to some sense here, saying, because, in all fairness to Harry, he found out his father was diagnosed with cancer. He got his butt on a plane and went to the UK
Exactly, and that's
to
across
speak to him
Atlantic,
in
right?
person.
For like a 10-minute meeting, which is
Yeah, it was something like 12 minutes, but
yeah. I don't blame the king at all. Actually, I feel that was a press stunt as well on Harry's part. But at least Harry, I suppose Harry
right.
recognised, holy shit, I've done all this shit to my dad, and now he has cancer. I need the
Mhm.
world to see this. She just can't see it at all.
Right. Well, one thing about abusers, they don't usually have a grasp on reality. I don't want to call it delusion because there's a difference between someone who's detached from reality and someone who's truly delusional. Megan doesn't understand that actions have consequences. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't understand why we don't like her.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
believe you're right.
so in 1995 we saw this, the person accused of killing Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman, they just expected to be acquitted and for to just pick up where they left off. They were going to go back to work, everything's going to go back to the way it was before. And no.
Yeah,
I mean, the court of public opinion convicted you a long time ago. But
yeah,
they didn't understand that. They're just sitting there,
oh yeah,
why
and
isn't the phone ringing? Yeah. Well,
I
nobody wants
think
to
for
talk to you.
some, anyone in the public eye, court of public opinion is way more important than actual courts.
Mhm,
So all these lawsuits, like when she sued the Daily Mail over the first letter to her father and Five Friends magazine and all that, I
mhm.
knew, what a stupid idea, because you've been condemned in the court of public opinion. You're making it worse. You're
Right.
making everybody really, really, really hate you now. And even if you win, you want to hope you don't win this court case, because if you win it, you're going to look like the big millionairess
Right.
exerting pressure on the impoverished
Excuse me.
father who gave you every opportunity that he could. They're not going to see it's a fight between you and the Daily Mail.
Right.
They're going to see it as you shitting on your father. But
Mhm.
so, what do you think that she sees? Because she clearly doesn't see any of this.
I don't know. I mean, Megan's not stupid. I mean, Megan seems to me like she's very bright. I don't think Megan really even needed a husband. She uses her intelligence and her ambition to use people. If she used her intelligence and her ambition to apply herself, I think that she could have done very well on her own.
Do you
But I
really
mean,
think?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think she's not. I think Harry's not very bright, and I think she's a little bit brighter than him.
Well, no, I mean, she didn't get this far from being stupid. Um, but I mean, she studied Harry. She spent a long time studying Harry and studying his mother. And because she had to figure out how she could manipulate him, but she had to figure all that out before she had any contact with him. And she did.
Yeah, probably when she met Marcus Anderson, and he probably bragged and said, at Soho House, we have various royals. And I think he
Mhm.
was sent over to open the first London one. And of course, he would
Marcus
see.
Anderson was?
I think so. I seem to
Okay.
remember that, or he was sent over to be the maitre
Mhm.
d' or something of it.
Right.
And of course, he would have seen quite quickly. New club opens, London. You're going to get the younger, as they were then, the younger royals. And I
Right.
think it was, yes, she's a social climber. And yes, she'd been working her way through people. She'd been axed by suits. Her time was over. She's looking
Mhm.
for a new stepping stone.
Yeah.
And I kind of think she just got lucky that she happened to meet Marcus through the chef and her
Oh,
ex-friend
Corey VTL.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as soon as she heard the word royal, I mean, there's stuff of her on the internet saying she came to the UK to look for an aristocratic British husband. Well, that's obvious. I want a title, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she hit the jackpot when she met Marcus, and he said, "You'll never guess who comes in here."
Well, another thing too, let's say Harry wasn't the son of the king. Oh, I mean, the Spencers are one of the oldest aristocratic families in England, so she really
Yeah,
hit two jackpots there.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
they've
I
had
mean,
ties to the royal family for a long time. If I'm
yeah.
not mistaken, Diana's a descendant of King James II, I think, through an illegitimate child.
We were talking about this the other night, and I can't remember how the connection works. It could be because wasn't it James the Second who had a bedpan baby snuck into the?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a kind of a the internet's awash with surrogacy
Mhm.
stories of Meghan. It was
Right,
kind of like that sort of situation. But I don't know if that's the one that Diana was related to. Um,
right.
they are connected to
Yeah.
the Spencers. It's a big old house, old family. Yeah. So she hit the
Well,
jackpot. And if she was obsessed with Princess Diana anyway, boy.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
So you remember in Paris when she did that video?
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. I don't know if you know this. She was in the back seat of a Mercedes, and she was in the back seat on the passenger side of the vehicle. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did. I think Diana. No, you're
That's where
right.
Diana was
Diana.
sitting during
Diana was
that
sitting
crash.
on that side of the car. Yeah, Diana was sitting behind the front passenger.
Right. She
There's the
wasn't sitting
famous
behind the
photo of
driver.
Diana, the back of as Diana's turning to look at something out of the back of the car.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. She was on the same side of the car. I didn't know it was a Mercedes.
It's my understanding it was. I could be wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised because
Right, I wouldn't be either.
it's a popular car for limousine service.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was that was a weird, but not as weird as laying down on Harry's grave to talk to his mother, and even worse, asking him for a moment alone with his mother, and then coming and
Yeah.
saying, "Your mum told me you need to do everything I tell you."
And Harry would believe that because, he's not very bright. But yeah, it's weird. So I don't know if this is true or not, but it's my understanding that their first date, she wore Diana's favorite perfume.
Yeah, I
And
believe that.
I mean, I think that's so weird. And why would Harry want to go on a second date with her? I mean, if I wanted to date with a guy who wore Old Spice, I'd be like, oh, this is a little weird. Yeah. But I mean, my dad wore Old Spice and my brother wears it too. I mean, I just think that would be really weird.
But he made a reference in Spare to rubbing Elizabeth Arden on his todger, and he said it felt like mummy rubbing it on.
Okay, so one thing in Spare, I don't know if you remember, he talked about the matrons at Ludgrove. I think he seems to have trouble discerning a romantic figure from a maternal figure.
Maybe. I mean, the
Yeah,
matrons, they're kind of meant to be maternal figures. I'm not sure they are. I think they're a lot.
right.
It's all about discipline, but I think Megan has made him feel like it's a mummy son relationship. I
Mhm.
didn't see that kind of
I think
dynamic.
that's part of the control, the means of control. Right.
Yeah, yeah, because I didn't see that with Chelsea or Cressida.
No, I think they were both nice to him. That's the impression I get.
Mm.
They seemed like they each had a good relationship with Harry and, it was but now we know why they didn't stick around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the press can be a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was the biggest reason, but I mean, Harry doesn't have any business having any kind of serious relationship. At least not until his traumas and his own issues were resolved. I mean, he's married, he has children, now that's done. But I'm sure that was part of the reason that Chelsea didn't stay in that relationship. Because I mean, look at how the press treated Catherine. She still stayed with William. I mean,
Yeah,
she must really love that guy.
yeah,
Because the press treated her really horribly.
yeah, yeah. They
Because
treated her exactly the same as Diana. If you look at
Right.
the images, the videos of how Diana was chased down the street, Catherine, if anything, Catherine had a few more.
Mhm. But I mean, William seems like he's very nice, but I probably wouldn't have stayed. I would
No,
have said,
I
look, I
understand.
can't handle this. And I'm sure William would have understood if Catherine didn't stay for that reason alone.
Yeah, because marrying into that family, at the higher ranking, the worse it's going to be. Basically, the person is agreeing to become one of the most trolled human beings on planet Earth.
Right.
Are you sure you can take this? I think that's what Prince Charles, when he was Prince Charles, meant when he said
Mhm.
at the engagement interview with Diana, he said, I think she's been very brave to take me on. I
Right.
think that's what he meant. You know, you
I
have
don't think
no
Diana
idea.
had a lot of choices though either. That was an arranged marriage.
Yeah, things were different then. It was
Mhm.
not in normal society. In normal society, you know, we were quite free. It was really weird that the royal family was still a bit like that. But I think that's what Charles meant. You know, you better
Right.
get ready because some people out there are going to really hate you. And Meghan has such a thin skin. I'm begging you to be nice. I'm begging you, please. This is Adele, a lovely
Hi.
young lady,
Hello.
and we're
Hi,
discussing
Ben.
How are your competitors doing, Adele?
My
Adele.
competitors?
Well, yeah, you know, like Asus, Lenovo.
Oh, those competitors.
Well, she's Adele.
Oh, go away, Ben. What a lame chip.
Which was the first thing that came to mind.
Let's have a look at some of the comments. If you think those Catholic cardinals were celibate back then, I have a Borgia Pope toy. Okay,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one. I'm pretty sure there are a couple of popes who are they're rumored to be a father and son. I mean, that could very well
Okay,
be true. Yeah.
okay. I have not. Do you know? I've never followed any of the popes.
By the way, I've
Yeah.
got an update for you
Oh,
about
Ben,
tomorrow.
please, I'm begging you. Can you go away?
No, I've got an update for you about tomorrow. Eric's coming.
Oh,
So it's
great.
just going to be me and Eric.
Oh, great. They're going to walk up a mountain with no climbing equipment. Or,
No, it's,
you
it's
know,
not.
it's more of a hill. He
Yeah.
wants to do this on Christmas Eve as a challenge. It's like a 4-hour walk.
6 hour.
6 hour, even better, 6-hour walk on Christmas Eve.
And every kilometre, we take a pint of beer.
And he's doing this to stress me out. I just like a stress-free Christmas. And he's going to take his idiot friend, Eric. Sorry, Eric. Sorry. I know you might see this video, but
He won't.
I don't think he's...
Right, Ben, take water with you.
He's a lot like Prince Harry, Eric.
The fucking... The
Oh, I
slander.
thought you were referring to
The
Ben at first.
slander.
Eric slander going on right now.
Okay, Eric might be more intelligent than Harry.
There you go.
Yeah, I noticed that with David. I mean, David was more intelligent than Harry is, but he still wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed either.
Yeah.
So he, the royal family sent him to the Bahamas to get him out of Europe so he wasn't commingling as much with the Nazis. But
yes, exactly.
you remember he expected Nazi Germany to get into Britain and
Yeah.
put him back on the throne.
Yeah.
But I don't think David understood that the throne, he wouldn't be the king under his own terms. He'd be the king under the terms of the Nazi regime.
Yeah.
You know, I think because David wanted to be the king on his own terms. You know, the UK has a constitutional monarchy, which most monarchies nowadays are. So it's, while yes, the sovereign is the head of state, they have parliament and there are, you know, certain standards of which that are expected of them.
Yeah.
So, and David didn't want that. King Edward VIII.
I mean, until I saw recently these historians who went to the National Archives and they actually got the documents out and showed it. You know, I'm thinking this is what I call hard evidence. I dare say it's in the book Traitor King. That's probably where Andrew Lowney, you know, why he wrote the book. Because I think these historians had revealed it in 2018. So it would have given Andrew Lowney a couple of years to write the book. But I've not read the book and I'd not seen this before. But it was quite clear that David and Wallace were having dinner parties with a group of people called, I forget the name of it. It's got a very simple title. Maybe in the book. There were about 6 of them, very wealthy, influential Americans who were in direct contact with Roosevelt. And basically,
Yeah, I remember that vaguely.
David and Wallace were lobbying them to lobby the president to say, don't join the war, don't help Britain, then let them fall, you know, and that is treacherous, totally treacherous.
So the United States tried to stay out of it until France fell. So when France fell to Nazi Germany, you know, they were afraid that Britain was next, which they almost were if it wasn't for Winston Churchill.
It really was Pearl Harbor, because Roosevelt wanted to join the war. He could see the danger, but he just couldn't get the American people to sort of see that a war so far away, how it affected them.
Yeah.
And when Pearl Harbor happened, well, afterwards, there have always been suspicions and rumors that MI5 knew that the Japanese attack was coming and that they did nothing. They sat back.
Well, the United States knew too.
Right.
I mean, that was only, they knew, I don't think they knew like the exact time, date, everything, but they knew it was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
So
when they had a lot of, I don't know if they had the whole American fleet, but they had a lot.
So the United States Navy had their entire Pacific fleet at that time at Pearl Harbor. So
the entire fleet. Oh my God.
Yes, the entire Pacific fleet. So I mean, they still had other fleets, but yeah, that was big.
Yeah, that seems really unwise for any country to like put all their eggs in.
They learned that lesson.
Yeah, for sure. I think what really shocked people was they didn't know the kamikazes were coming.
They didn't know the what?
Well, the Japanese pilots were committing, so you know, they were just dive bombing. They didn't care. They were willing to give their lives. They would just fly straight into the jets. They didn't care if they were killed. It was total kamikaze. I think that's where the name comes from. And that's what really shocked everybody, you know, the extent. And then, of course, the damage that was done.
Right. But after France fell to Nazi Germany, that's when the United States started helping Britain. So we got out of that neutrality. And because Nazi Germany was allied with Japan, you know, they weren't like interacting, you know, importing, exporting goods to Japan. And that's what happened. And so Japan said, well, we're going to get y'all involved in this too. And they did. You know, there's a very famous quote from the Japanese admiral. He says, I think we've just woken a sleeping giant.
Yeah. I think there's a similar one about, I think Napoleon might have said that about Russia as well. At one
Napoleon tried to take over Russia twice, didn't he?
Do you know, I've only just started studying Napoleon. Well, there's been more than one Napoleon, but I've only just started studying the Emperor Napoleon. And it's really quite interesting to see it all. Because a lot happened here in Gibraltar at the same time. The foundations of America were happening. There was a lot happening all at the same time. So it's a really complicated and fascinating part of history.
My French teacher for middle school is French. So, you know, part of the class, she taught us a lot about French history. And we did study Napoleon. You know, the first time I went to Paris, I was in a museum. I forget which museum it is, but Napoleon's horse is in there. They taxidermied the horse, and you can go see it.
Really? I didn't know that.
And I saw his tomb. His tomb is enormous, and he's rumored to have only been like 5 feet tall.
Yeah, he was quite a tiny guy. I have always wanted to go to the island of Elba, where he was a prisoner. You haven't, or you have?
No, I have not.
It's in the Mediterranean, I think. And I looked into going there once, and it's quite expensive to get there from here. He was a prisoner there, and then I think he escaped. Either he escaped or they let him out. I'm not kind of clear on that bit yet. But I would.
He was in Corsica for a while.
I think Elba is near. I don't know
if he died there or if he died in Elba.
I think Elba is near Corsica. It's sort of in that region. It was featured in the Count of Monte Cristo. You know, the story of.
Right. I haven't read that book. But...
I only seen the movie. it's a great movie. There's several versions.
Didn't Victor Hugo write that book? I think he did.
I don't know who wrote it, but I watched, I think it's a 2006 version, and they did a really great version. And it begins with the delivery of a message to Napoleon on the island of Elba. And of course, then I'm like, what's Elba? Where's that? Where's that? I want to.
Oh my gosh, no, Alexandre Dumas wrote it. Where's my head today?
Oh, you're better read than me. I haven't read many books, and I'm ashamed to say Spare is one of them. I was very grateful.
That was a terrible book.
It was really simple terminology and extremely short sentences.
But
And it
know,
was
Kier
like,
was talking about, it was like the book was just, I mean, it was so confusing because you have this jigsaw, the way she described it, she said you have a jigsaw puzzle and Harry's given you about 2 pieces of it. And yeah, that was the perfect way to describe it because, like I said,
yeah,
it's a terrible book. You remember
it's really
that
weird.
story?
They're little sentences.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't continue the sentence, next one on the same line. There's the next sentence is under it. And the next sentence is under that. So you could actually sort of draw a silhouette, and it's like half a page, half the width of a page, and dead spaced out. And no chapter titles.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
A lot of books don't.
Oh, don't
chapter
they? I don't read many.
Gone with the Wind doesn't. There are like 53 chapters, but it's just like chapter 1, chapter 2.
I guess it's on purpose because he knows we'd all skip to I Met Megan, chapter 7.
Right.
You know, how did this shit show happen, Harry? How did you let this happen?
Right.
You mad, crazy fool.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, can you agree with this wasn't a plan? I mean, if we're watching this, like, yeah, it. But, I think someone on Twitter said, I think that Meghan wrote Spare to further isolate Harry from his family. I agree.
I agree.
Now, she might not have written it start to finish, but I think at least the parts that included her.
Like a fight over tights or a tiara or lip gloss.
You remember their first fight?
How would he know? How would he know about lip gloss in a toilet?
And I don't know about you. I have not shared lip gloss with anyone since about middle school.
You haven't? Sorry, what?
I haven't shared lip gloss with someone since I was about 12.
I'm not sure I ever have.
I mean, grown women don't usually do that. So for her to be upset about it, I think is really...
Yeah.
I mean, it's immature, but I think it's also kind of strange.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think she wrote the book. I mean, I know Mo Ringer wrote the book. Someone said in the comments to me yesterday, no, Mo Ringer.
Yeah, he had a ghostwriter.
But she was saying she was taking milk and cookies to Mo Ringer to check he was okay. She was taking milk and cookies to him twice a day. She's influencing what he's going to put in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So.
But you remember the story about Nick? The boy who fell down the well?
No.
So he and his friends were running around playing. And, they were probably like 10, 11 maybe. Boys that age, they try to kill each other.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing, essentially. Well, one of their friends has disappeared. They can't find him. They're looking around everywhere for him. Well, Nick has fallen down a well. They find him at the bottom of this well. So instead of getting an adult or lowering the rope, something to the effect of helping Nick. Now, so what do? They get firecrackers and start throwing them down the well at Nick. Do you remember that?
No.
And then you remember what happens to Nick? We don't know. He doesn't tell us. Like, that's where he ends the story.
I don't remember that bit.
Yeah.
That's in Spare.
Yeah, and it's stuff like that. It's like,
oh my god,
I missed something. Like,
I must have scan read it. No, I didn't know that was in there. I've got it.
Yeah, because she talked about it. And she said that's the end of the story. We don't know what happens. I'm like, wait, what? He doesn't tell us.
What happened to Nick, Harry?
Right. So, but then there's stories like that where he just doesn't finish them and you're just confused. Then there are those other stories that just didn't make any sense. You remember he talked about when his grandmother was in her final hours and his father called him and said, hey, if you want to come up here. But his father couldn't stay on the phone very long because he had a bajillion other calls to make. So Harry texts William and he's calling and messaging William. William's not answering. And finally, Harry, after spending the afternoon dragging his feet, finally gets his own way to Balmoral and Granny's already passed away.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make any sense because someone mentioned, Harry and William both have people who work for them. They all have each other's phone numbers. Why wouldn't, Harry just have his people call William's people? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. The supposed real story, I don't know if this is true or not, is that they were on the tarmac ready to leave, and Harry was ready to bring Meghan, and they told her she wasn't invited. Well,
I believe
which
that.
is understandable
I believe
because,
that.
his grandmother, when she was trying to make these decisions about, her final hours, she probably wouldn't have wanted a lot of people there.
No.
She wanted her 4 children there. And so after going back and forth with Harry for an hour, William, Andrew, Edward, and Sophie left without him.
Yeah.
He eventually found his own way there, and she had already passed away.
Actually
That's my understanding.
Yeah,
but that makes sense.
He says in the book that he was talking to his father on the phone. He said, I don't want Meghan there. And that he kind of describes the argument. And then Charles says, well, Catherine's not going. And Harry says, well, that's all you had to say in the first place. Yeah, how petulant.
But I don't know why Sophie was there. I've heard that Sophie and her late majesty were very close. Yeah, so maybe when the time came, with her 4 children, she wanted Sophie there too. Now, under different circumstances, Camilla and William would probably have not been there. But they're not like most families. I mean, George was only 9, but even if he or his mother were there, that wouldn't have been totally unreasonable. There was no reason for Harry or Meghan to be there. There were no other grandchildren there.
I personally believe Catherine wanted to be there. And
definitely.
I think Catherine said, I'm going to take the bullet. Just tell her I'm not going.
Right. But I think another thing Catherine said she wanted to stay behind for their children. One, it was their first day at a new school, but she also wanted to sit them down and tell them, I think Gran is what they called her, Gran's gone to heaven and, and she wanted them to hear it from one of their parents versus their parents just like disappearing and then, their grandparents or something telling them. Yeah.
They were so cold in the days before the Queen died. They were invited to Balmoral. Both of them were invited to Balmoral.
She wanted to see Harry the summer before she died. She said, Harry, the whole family's going to be here. I want to see you and your children. And they wouldn't go. Yeah.
But I mean, literally the week before she died, it was they were like, no, I'm busy. Don't bother me now. And then when they realized, holy shit. I mean, Graham and I knew.
Oh, she's dying? Yeah.
I don't know how many other people had figured it out, but
I figured it out. They showed the photo of her when she greeted Liz Truss. I was like, oh, she's got not long left.
But there's no way of knowing but the actual moment.
Right.
When they said all the family are going to Balmoral.
Oh yeah. It
was obvious.
Yeah.
That was what was happening. It's been fabulous talking to you, Adele.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. And it's lovely to meet people who follow the channel and comment on the channel. And then everyone can put a face to it. Because as I was saying to you,
I don't have a photo on YouTube, so.
Some of our critics in this community just refer to us all as a bunch of old grannies, and it's such a generalizing, sweeping statement. They don't know who anybody is in the comments. I'm sure that it's a broad spectrum of people who follow the royal family, are interested in history.
Yeah. So it's this comment. She would have had Catherine. I think Her late majesty would have wanted Catherine to be. She really liked Catherine. Yeah, she loved Catherine very much. And but I mean, I'm sure as a grandmother, a grandmother, she understood, she would have understood why Catherine wasn't there.
Yeah. But well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you
for having me.
We're going to have to do this again because you are so well read and interesting to talk to. And I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
I did too.
Thank you so much.
I've never been live on social media before, so I just kind of didn't know what to expect. Yeah. I don't have a YouTube channel, so I use Facebook, Instagram, and stuff, but I don't ever go live.
Maybe you should have one and do history.
I was gonna say I don't know what I'd talk about. I mean, but
you got a pretty good grasp of history, I think.
I like to think so. That wasn't ever my specialty.
Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. I'm going to end the live now. See you guys tomorrow. Christmas Eve tomorrow. Are you ready for Christmas, Adele?
I mean, I'm never ready for anything, so. But as ready as I'll be, yeah.
I bought some wrapping paper today. That's it.
I have some gifts to wrap. Actually, I'm expecting some gifts to be delivered today, and then I'll wrap them.
Oh,
So.
don't even get me started about gifts being delivered, because my daughter's bought me the most gorgeous tiara. You know, one of these. Oh, I think it's off Timo or something. Well, she sent it from the UK to here in Spain, and of course they want duty paid, like it's a real tiara. They want €5.50, and the girls in the office, they're not going to pay that for me. So they say to the postman leaves a delivery note, says go to the post office. So that's why I was a bit late meeting up with you before this, because I went to the post office. There's like one person on the counter and about 30 people in the queue.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
I went to the post office recently to send a package, and luckily for me, I got there before the line was out the door.
Yeah, I
which
think
was good. I was on my way to work, so.
If I'd realised, I'd have gone earlier in the day. I might try and go after this again. Thank you so much, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and may your God be with you.
See ya.